I wanted to ask you something about what you said earlier about Trump and Biden being statistically tied for the next election. What difference would it make to India if Trump came to power or Biden came to power? Who's better for India, according to you?
It's a great question. I think both will be pro-India. I don't think that there will be much difference. I think, honestly, there has been a bipartisan strategic decision, and fueled, as I said, by America's natural proclivities toward India, ever since the Clinton administration. Basically, the Clinton administration found a way over the course of its administration, trial and error. First, it put sanctions on because of the nuclear explosion, but after that, essentially Clinton came to India and tried to make up, and then you had the Bush administration with the nuclear deal, and you had Obama, made several overtures and would constantly say that Manmohan Singh was his favorite foreign leader in the world, and of course, since then. So you've had a consistent policy of an America that has been reaching out to India and trying to find ways to strengthen those ties. I think that will continue. And if you want to be cold-blooded about it, as I say, the rise of China makes that strategically inevitable. The question to me more is, what will be the fundamental outlook of a Biden administration versus a Trump administration? And I think Trump fundamentally reflects a kind of return of American isolationism. He reflects an America that says, why the hell are we in the world? It's costly, it's messy, all these foreigners take advantage of us. Let's retreat to our fortress America. If anyone messes with us, we'll beat them up, but we'll retreat to our fortress. That's the Trump mentality. He also very strongly believes in protectionism and high tariff walls and all that kind of thing. So I think from a broader orientation, you are better off in a world in which the traditional American internationalism prevails, because it's a world that will be more open, that will be more rule-based, that will be more free, that will be a world in which America is more engaged, and particularly for India's biggest strategic concern, which is the rise of China, I think you will have a more effective counter to the rise of China with a more internationalist America, an America that's more than willing to play its part in, whether it's guaranteeing the security of European countries, guaranteeing the security of Asian countries, that sense that the United States understands that its role in stabilizing the world is key to avoiding a descent into some kind of new great power tension or great power war. So I think it's on that broader dimension. But they'll all come to India at Holi, and they'll all wear white kurtas, and you let their white kurtas get messed up because they all want to court India.
Given you have kind of said that the Democrats will be better for us, I want to ask you on a lighter note, can this statistical tie be on one side or the other, or the statistical tie be broken by Taylor Swift?
Well, in a way, it tells you how close the election is, and it tells you again how cultural issues play an enormous part. But I think that at the end of the day, while Americans think about all these sort of trivial issues, the elections do tend to be fought and won on these much broader kinds of issues that I'm describing, and even though there are 60% of the democratic world public going to elections, honestly, this is the pivotal election. This is the election on which the shape of the world will be determined, because you really do have on the one side somebody who fundamentally doesn't get America's role in the world and wants to draw back, and another side that wants to be more engaged and more involved. So I think the stakes for everybody are high. We'll be fine. I mean, I have always thought that if Trump were elected, America will be fine. America has very strong democratic institutions, and they will take a beating with the second Trump administration, because he's fundamentally a kind of illiberal figure, and fundamentally in many ways a kind of quasi-authoritarian figure. But we have, think about the last time around. When he challenged the election, you had 55 court decisions that went against him, including a majority of those judges who ruled against him were Republican, many of them appointed by Trump, and they still ruled against him. His own attorney general refused to go along with him. His own vice president refused to go along with him. State governments refused to go along with him. So the United States has very strong democratic checks and balances. I think, by the way, one thing India could learn from that is our states need to be stronger. Indian states need to be a little bit given more capacity and more power to be part of the democratic mix. But what I worry about is the international sphere, because there the American president has almost no checks and balances. There the president can do almost anything he wants. And that's the role, that's the realm in which, you know, with Trump, you never know, because he's really the world's greatest narcissist. Is the greatest egomaniac the world has ever seen. So he might decide that something looks good for him. I mean, who would have guessed that this is a guy who will fall in love with Kim Jong-un of North Korea? But he did, because he got into his head that this would win him the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know who gave him that impression, but you know, so we'll be in for a roller coaster ride and many surprises. The question is, do you want to take the chance and buy that ticket?